about the issues that are important to the American people. To do that, we need our data, which has been stolen by the DNC. That's what we want back.
Late this afternoon, the Sanders campaign filed a lawsuit against the DNC seeking an injunction and asking for more than $600,000 per day in damages. Joining me now to respond is the chair of the Democratic National Committee, Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz of Florida. Thanks so much for joining me tonight, Debbie.
Thanks for having me, Alex.
So, for people looking at this, I think a lot of folks are confused about the crime and the punishment. And explain to us, if you can, why you think this punishment fits the crime.
Well, first, I think it's really unfortunate that Senator Sanders' campaign staff is not serving him very well. Alex, I had to personally call Senator Sanders yesterday after we learned on Wednesday that this breach had occurred. We had a glitch with our vendor, which obviously was of significant concern, and we learned that during the period of time in which there was an opening, in which our campaigns could see one another's proprietary data, the Sanders campaign staff chose to view, download, export and download that data that did not belong to them. And we asked for that information from them. Once we learned of it on Wednesday, we asked for them to tell us who accessed it, what they had, and for them to demonstrate that they had destroyed it and no longer had access to it. And we are still waiting for that. So I had to take the extraordinary step of calling Senator Sanders, and I informed him myself for the first time that this breach had occurred. His own staff had not told him. Senator Sanders is a man of integrity. I have tremendous admiration for him. I think he's run a remarkable campaign. But, unfortunately, his campaign staff have not served him well. And so the only way for me to make sure that I can preserve the integrity of our voter file is to ensure that until we have the information that we need for me to be able to certify that, that the campaign can't have access to that voter file, so they can't manipulate data that they shouldn't have in the first place. And we're waiting for that assurance. And my understanding is it's being compiled, and we're waiting for it. And as soon as we have it, and we reviewed it, and we can really see that that's what we've asked for, then we'll be able to turn their access on. We want to do that as expeditiously as possible, but we absolutely have to have that information.
Are you at all concerned that there is now some outcry about the severity of this punishment, given that Senator Sanders' campaign is effectively frozen, no fundraising, no outreach to voters in key early states?
There's simply no other remedy available. I mean, if they accessed information, proprietary information of another campaign, and if the shoe were on the other foot, I'm quite sure that the Sanders campaign and their supporters would want me to take the exact same action against the Clinton campaign that I've taken in this case. And they would be very loud about it and make sure that it was clear that my responsibility was to level the playing field and treat their campaign fairly and restore the integrity of that voter file. That's what I'm doing here. Until we can see that they no longer have access to information that they were not entitled to, they can't use the vehicle. Wait a minute, Alex. They can't use the vehicle with which they could manipulate that data that they took.
Do you have an estimate about how long this might take?
The ball was in the Sanders campaign court.
Sorry. Once you receive.
Well, once we receive it and we review it, which won't take very long. As long as they've provided us with the information we've asked for, then we can turn it right back on. But the ball's in their court. We've been waiting since Wednesday to get this information. It's baffling to me that they admit that they did this. They fired one staffer over it. It's clear that other staffers were involved in this as well, and yet they still won't give us this information, and their response is a lawsuit. I mean, it's just, you want to talk about an action that is inappropriate as a response to their own campaign taking the information of another campaign that doesn't belong to them. This is really baffling as to why his campaign team is acting in this way.
Congresswoman, I have to call your attention to the fact, I know you're not unfamiliar with this. There have been some allegations that the DNC has been supportive, perhaps secretly, of the Clinton campaign and the scheduling and the number of Democratic debates.
Yeah,
I want to read a tweet from David Axelrod. Without evidence that his hierarchy knew about data poaching, harsh penalty for Bernie Sanders looks like DNC is putting finger on scale. Do you have a response to that?
We do have evidence that his campaign inappropriately accessed proprietary information. The analogy that I would use is it's as if you found a house with an unlocked front door, and instead of locking it and notifying authorities, you went in and you took things, ransacked the house, and took things that didn't belong to you. And then you expect to
How about
continue to have
firing a
access to the
company
house.
that you hired to do
That
your
makes no
software?
sense. The owner of the house certainly shouldn't allow them to have the perpetrator to have access to the house until there is a full accounting of what was taken, who took it, and we make sure that they can't do it again. That's the process we're going through. It's an entirely reasonable response, and it could be resolved very quickly. We're in 2 days now. We're 2 days into